Hey everybody, I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, Oloro.
Hey, welcome back everybody. This is the Commander's Brew, episode 48.
48.
We don't usually say the episode numbers because I usually don't know them. But this time I know them because we are recording this as a video, and on our video it says what episode it is.
Yeah, it says who it is, Oloro. It says our Twitter handles.
Yeah, it says our Twitter handles. It says the podcast Twitter handle, and it has an image of the commander we are featuring today, which is Oloro Ageless Acetic.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, since he's up on the screen, let's read what he does before we get into our biz.
Oh, yeah, we got business to handle, but I guess read Oloro first.
Yeah, all right. So he's 3 and Esper. So 3 white, blue, black. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1 generic. If you do, draw a card, and each opponent loses 1 life. So you can draw extra cards. But here's the crazy thing about Oloro. He's the only one like this. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Oloro is in the command zone, you gain 2 life.
Yeah.
You just gain life.
Yep.
As you go.
You don't even need to do anything. You just need to have him as your commander.
So he's the theme we're brewing around. We always brew budget decks.
Always. Every time.
Under $50. No card over $5 unless it's essential.
Mm-hmm.
And then... yeah, we do a couple of takes.
2 versions of it, and this week we're doing Oloro, Ageless Acetic. This is the most popular commander. It took us this long to do this guy.
Yeah, it's the most built deck according to EDH Rec. Just collates a lot of data, and I guess is that because the precon was so popular? Is that because his life gain is so awesome? Is that because people love Esper and there's not a lot of great Esper commanders?
We'll see. We'll get into this. We'll talk about Oloro in a sec, but first. We're going to feature an ad by our excellent sponsors, Wizards Tower, wizardtower.com. Check it out.
Oh, hey, everybody. I'm just walking around at 3 in the morning because I'm trying to get back to sleep. I got startled awake again, and I keep having this recurring nightmare. It sucks because it's a mythic card, and it shouldn't happen, but it keeps happening to me. So, I don't know how much more I can do this before I completely lose my mind. Maybe one more time. But anyway, if you want to get startled awake, I know a good place to get that card. It's the Wizards Tower, wizardtower.com. If you buy singles totaling $15 or more in Canada or $10 or more in the US, they'll give you free shipping for it. That's great. Yeah, they'll give you 3% kickback for your next order, so you can get startled awake again if you need some more of them. And, use coupon code Tower of Brews. You get 5% off. I wish there was a coupon code called Get a Good Night's Sleep. And then you can get a good night's sleep. But I don't have a coupon code because I'm from Innistrad. We don't have computers. This is a weird dream.
All right, there it is, wizardtower.com. That's the latest ad. Very good. What a cool ad. Okay, so what business we got to handle here? What business we got coming up?
Okay, well, I mean, this Sunday, if you're listening to it upon recent dropping of the episode, June 26th, that's a Sunday from 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Toronto time.
Yep.
We are going to do a live on Twitch Brew and Brawl, right? We're just going to brew.
I love that it's called the Brew and Brawl.
I love alliteration.
Yeah.
We're going to brew a deck together with the viewers, the listeners on Twitch. We're going to take suggestions. We're going to build it on MTGO, and then, we'll throw down with whoever is in the chat room who wants to play.
That's right. We did it last month, and it was a massive success. We had a lot of fun. We built
Nicol Bolas.
Questionable deck. It was Nicol Bolas, but, we... I don't know how effective it was, but I'll tell you what. We've taken some lessons from that. We are going to have more brewing time, and we're going to know exactly what we're doing going into it a little bit more. So this is going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and come on back and play with us if you guys were in that first round. It's going to be great.
We figured out a system to kind of streamline the process, so we're going to waste less time, buying tickets and
exactly,
talking to
we didn't have
bots
any
to
of
trade.
that stuff ready the first time around.
It's a work in progress, but
it's a work in progress.
If you miss the last one, good.
Yeah.
Now you're getting in when, we got a little bit of experience.
Yeah, and of course, quickly, we have a Patreon, and if you would like to support the show, you can go there and do that. Currently, our patrons are getting bonus video content from this recording, the planning of the commander interview, and any kind of in-between stuff. You can see that there. Yeah, some bloops. I love a good bloop.
Bloops are great.
Yeah, whether it's just the noise or just a short form of blooper.
Or the squid character from Mario Brothers.
Are they named
levels.
Bloop?
I think they were bloops.
Bloops?
I think so.
I don't know.
Or maybe they were blooper.
Aren't they like ink? No, they're called Inky.
No, that was the Pac-Man ghost.
Oh, yeah, you're...
There was a Pac-Man ghost that was Inky.
Yes, that is true. Inky, Blinky, and...
Pinky. Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde for Pac-Man. And then Clyde was replaced by Sue for Ms. Pac-Man.
Clyde. What's the joke there with Clyde?
I think the joke is like you expect another rhyme, and it's the opposite of a rhyme.
So just straight up, that's all it is.
I think that's it. Just you're expecting one thing, and they give you the other.
Interesting. I think the Mario guy's name might be Inky also.
Okay, but now look up blooper.
Yeah, because Inky sauce, Inky piranha plant.
Inky piranha plant, but that's the dark colored piranha plant, which is the Inky version of it.
Right, based on...
Maybe he got the sauce from Inky?
That's what I mean, like his name Inky.
Okay, but can you look up Mario Blooper and see if he also comes up under that?
I think there is someone definitely named Blooper in the Mario universe.
Blooper Squid, yeah.
Mario Blooper Squid. Maybe, did they rename him at some point?
Quite
Gooper
possibly.
Blooper. No, maybe you're right. Maybe he's just named Blooper. Let's take a look. Okay, this is unrelated.
Unrelated.
But it's very important that we do this. Yeah, you're right. No, the squid guy's just name is Blooper.
I remember because I had a Nintendo Entertainment System, NES.
Yeah.
And I wasn't allowed to play it nearly as much as I wanted to.
Oh, wow.
Nearly as much as I wanted to. I wanted to play the thing nonstop. So I just spent time reading the manual over and over and over. And I just read, that character was referenced in it, so I just read it so many times.
Well, your memory is better than mine on that one. Blooper is the squid's name in Mario, everyone. Calm down. Okay, let's get into this, though. Let's get into the show this week. We're talking Oloro, Ageless Acetic, the most popular commander according to EDHREC.com.
And we are not going to just brew an obvious, the most standard version of it.
Right, we are not. I was going to do that at first. I was going to do a classic Oloro, and I started doing it, and it was really just it was the same as Sean's Ailey deck, I realized when I started doing it. And I was like, a lot of the cards that work really well in that deck were working in this one, and I just didn't want to just go over that deck again with some blue in it, So instead we went in a different direction, and both of us went in different directions that you might not think of when you think about Oloro and his ability. And we already read the ability. Of course, he's going to gain you 2 life, whether he's in the command zone or on the battlefield. And when you gain life, you can pay a colorless. If you do, draw a card, and each opponent loses a life. Great.
Cool. So the angle that I took is just classic Reanimator strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Classic. And for that, I'm basically prepared to ignore Oloro. I'm going to gain my 2 life every turn, and I never need to cast him. If I want some more cards and I've got mana lying around, I'll cast him. Mm-hmm. And if he dies, I'm going to let him go to the graveyard. Because I'm classic Reanimator, I'll just reanimate him if I want him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I also basically ignored the commander and the ability, and you just basically what ends up happening is you just get this buffer of life starting on turn 1, if you can remember it, which is a problem when you have Oloro. I've seen in many, many games. You got to keep that dice on top of your deck as a reminder. You're gaining the life from the beginning, but I'm going spirits, all spirits, tribal. And the bonuses that come with those spirits. So different take for sure, and that life gain is just going to help you survive if people come to attack you. And again, like you said, a little bit of card draw if we want it, which we of course will. And it doesn't hurt to make your opponents lose a life if you draw cards, right? So great.
And, that's I'm prepared to use it a buffer too, As a Reanimator strategy, I do cheat big creatures out, but it takes a little time. So
Yep.
we'll just get a little bit more. So basically, the parts of this deck. Here's what my classic Reanimator. Here's what any classic Reanimator deck wants to do.
Yeah, nail it down for us.
Classic Reanimator wants to just pitch giant creatures to the graveyard, cheap and easy.
Right.
Then you want to reanimate using cheap spells those wicked huge creatures.
Right.
So you're getting a huge savings on mana. I'm going to spend 4 to get an 8-drop or a 9-drop. That's what we're all about. And then just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, that sounds like classic Reanimator to me. That's the kind of stuff you do, whether it's in a cube or whether you're playing in one of those weird sets that has a Reanimator theme. For me, spirits and actually kind of more flying tribal, which is kind of funny because we got a lot of stuff that pumps flyers. And of course, when you're making, it's a token theme. It's a tribal theme. When you're making a lot of tokens that fly, you get to do a sort of a different thing than you might with other token builds. You get to you get that evasion built into them, so you can have some other advantages. So casting spirits, making tokens, you can pump your guys up, and actually I've added a few things that shrink other flyers, your opponent's flyers down, because there's a couple cards that do that specifically. And like I said, with the evasion, we're going to use that to help us draw a lot of cards.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It is. It's neat. It's really cool.
Shall we break it down in a bit more detail?
Break it down.
Is that a real song?
It's the Degeneration X theme.
Okay. I feel like a lot of tunes break it down.
Yeah, there's a lot of yelling break it down, I think, in a lot of cool songs.
Yeah.
Not just the DX theme.
Right. Okay, so let's go classic Reanimator. Getting stuff in the graveyard for cheap. Well, I can't think of many better ways to do this than with Corpse Connoisseur.
There he is.
There he is. He's a 4 and a black for a 3/3. He's a zombie wizard. When Corpse Connoisseur enters the battlefield, so for 5 mana, you spent 5 mana, he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card and put that creature card into the graveyard, shuffle your library. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
That's great. It's an entomb on a creature.
Yeah, so normally we're just going to pitch what's in our hand, but here we just get whatever we want. And the beauty of him is he has Unearth. So for the cost of 3 and a black, that's an additional 4, he pops out of the graveyard, he gets haste, so his ETB triggers again, and you get to search for another big creature, throw him in the graveyard, and then Corpse Connoisseur will be exiled at the end of that turn, but he's done his job more than once. So like he's paid his debt to the deck.
Yeah.
Great. Gets 2 huge choice dudes into the graveyard. Another way to do this is going to be Forbidden Alchemy.
Ooh.
This card is great. It's from the Innistrad block. It's an instant for 2 and a blue, and it says, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. This is great.
Nice card selection there.
Card selection. So we're going to, so hopefully in an ideal world, we'll find 1 big, huge creature and maybe a Reanimator spell and maybe a land or another spell or something. And then if it's early in the game and we don't have a lot of mana, we'll pitch the huge creature, keep the Reanimator spell. Boom. Another Reanimation.
Who's this weirdo behind us? Look at this weird. Is that one of the Fremen back there? Come on. Sorry if you're listening to the audio version of this, but there's like a. Are you like? Has there been a toxic waste spill or something, or what's happening?
Do we need to evacuate?
Yeah. What's the radiation levels back there? How you doing, bud?
You're just looking for that little blue tea thing.
Oh, that thing. It's with the other tea things. Okay, cool. So that's.
Why don't I start this one over?
You can just carry on. Just keep going.
Okay.
That was. You guys might recognize that voice. That was Sarah, also known as John from last week's episode.
Yes.
Anyways.
Okay, and then right. So Forbidden Alchemy, we're going to pick out of 4, and it itself has flashback of 6 and a black. So if it ends up in the graveyard in some way because we had to pitch it or because we cast it once, we get to do it all over again. Hopefully put another creature in the yard or reanimate the spell. But like I keep saying, well, after we have finished pitching into the graveyard, we got one more card I want to talk about.
Yeah, and that card is...
Forbid.
Forbidden Alchemy, and now just straight up Forbid.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I also have Forgotten Creation, which we're gonna talk about later. But like,
Let me tell you, you having that was a foregone conclusion.
And I have 4 lands.
That's it? That's not going to be
that's
enough.
not enough.
That
That's
will
not enough.
certainly not be enough.
Not true. Forbid. It's a 1 blue. It's a counterspell, basically. Counter target spell. But it has buyback, choose, and discard 2 cards.
Ooh,
If we have a couple huge dudes in our hand, we want to do this. This is not a drawback. Maybe if we have a huge dude and Forbidden Alchemy, we'll pitch those 2. We can flash back Forbidden Alchemy, no problem. And then we get to counter a spell and get this back in our hand. Worst case scenario, we don't want to pitch anything. It's like game, we just counter a spell that's going to hurt our board. I'm okay with that too.
Forbid is the same price as like a cancel or a dissolve or a dissipate, but you just get it again if you want it. It's crazy.
Cancel. Like there are those counter spells that exile the card, which has their own merit.
Yeah.
But you might as well, like Forbid can be just a straight up counterspell, or it can be a repeatable counterspell if you want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
A lot of what's it called? Versatility there for sure.
Versatile. So as I was saying, so like with all these cards, anything that pitches stuff into the graveyard, if it's early in the game and you got your Reanimator spells and you only have 5 or 6 mana, that's great. But as the game goes on, you might be at the point where you can start to cast those huge dudes anyway.
Right.
Just straight natural. So do that.
Just do that.
And then when they die from a wrath or whatever, then you reanimate them again with those spells. Like it's great.
Great. Good strategy. Okay, let's take a look at Oloro's spirit buddies. Because that's what we got going on here. First things first, we got to get the key spirits, the important spirits that you're going to want to make this deck really hum. And one I've taken here is from the current set. It's from Shadows over Innistrad. It's called Rattle Chains. And it's a creature. It's a spirit. It's a 2-mana 2/1, so it's 1 in a blue. It has flash, which is great. And flash is like a bit of a theme in the deck. You're going to want to keep your mana up a lot, but anyways, you'll see. It has flying, of course. When Rattle Chains enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until end of turn. That's nice.
Could be Oloro.
Except he's not a spirit.
Isn't he? I thought he was a giant spirit.
No, he's a giant soldier.
Dang.
So more correctly, it couldn't be Oloro.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. We're not really going to ever cast Oloro unless we really need card draw.
That's true.
But that's the great thing about him is that he is, you just let him sit there until I need to draw some cards. But the key ability on Rattle Chains is the last one, which I totally forgot about and didn't know. Didn't know it even had this until I listened to a recent episode of Brainstorm Brewery where the same thing happened to those guys. You may cast spirit spells as though they had flash. So all the spirits in your deck and the spirit spells, which we do have, I think there's 1 or 2 of them, they now have flash, which is so good.
Amazing.
Lets you keep your counter spells up, which we have a couple of. Lets you keep a lot of your mana up for to see what's going on, of course. It's great.
Well, and it's just the threat of activation, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if your opponents know you can cast anything at flash, they're not going to come in. They don't know what you're going to block with.
Rattle Chains, one of the key spirits of this deck. Next one is an all-time classic. We got Kega, the Tide Star. 5 in a blue for a 5/5 legendary dragon spirit. Has flying, and it says, when Kega, the Tide Star dies, gain control of target creature.
Woof.
You kind of like forget how good this card is until you're facing it down on the other side of the board, right? Like you can't attack into it if you have a bigger creature, and a lot of the times you can't block it with your bigger creature. So this guy just kind of does whatever it wants for a lot of the time, right? And if there's a sack outlet out there, then I get to decide what creature of yours I'm going to take and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, if anyone, it's gross.
Yeah, and very abusable with recursion and that sort of thing. It's just such a great creature. This is very good in a Reanimator deck. If you can sacrifice it and then reanimate it several times, you don't lose the card advantage there. You gain it, right? Because you're getting creatures from your opponents or whatever. And finally, another key spirit is Sire of the Storm. It's a 4 and 2 blue for a 3/3 flying spirit. And it says, whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, and we do have a couple of arcane spells in here, you may draw a card.
Nice.
Straight up. Simple. Just all your spirits now cantrip. Keeps the deck rolling. There's a lot of ways to draw cards in this deck, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want to overwhelm them with spirits and draw lots of cards because Esper, as we know, isn't the greatest mana ramping combination of colors
because it don't have green.
So you just want to get your consistent mana, and that one way to do that is to draw a lot of cards. And Sorry the Storm helps out. I mean, it's 6 mana. It's not going to help you do it super early, but hopefully you can get this guy out and have a good time with him.
Nice. I love those kind of things.
Yeah, right. Just now, every creature in your deck cantrips. That's very good.
And if they all have flash as well, it's just like, oh, you didn't do anything bad. So at your end step, I'll flash in 3 creatures, draw 3 cards, and then draw for turn. And now I'm ready to do it all over again.
Yeah. And Rattle Chains helps protect these guys later in the game if you draw it late.
Oh yeah,
opposed to early. It's
rattle them chains.
Coming back to Rattle Chains, maybe I should have included it on the 3 stars. Maybe I did. Who knows? We'll see. Sean, what's up?
Okay. So now, we've talked about ways of getting giant creatures into the graveyard. Let's talk about some of those giant creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and this guy has been a classic Reanimator target for ages. This is Inkwell Leviathan. 7 blue. That's a total of 9.
9. No wonder you got to reanimate him. That's too much.
He's a 7-11.
He's a 7-11.
Open 24 hours.
For business, yeah.
You get some Slurpees there.
You get some taquitos.
Some big gulps.
You can buy very small packs of toilet paper.
You can get motor oil there.
You sure can. You can buy burners, cell phones.
Yeah. Burners. If you need your burners, go to the Inkwell Leviathan.
You get those old hot dogs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, once you've gotten your fill of roadside snacks, Inkwell Leviathan is a island walk, shroud, trample, 7-11.
Yeah.
So the shroud means no one can touch this guy, including you. So you can't do stuff to him, but you don't need to. He's a 7-11. He has island walk, so there's usually plenty of island players at the table. So you basically have free 7 hits on them. And if they have a couple of big blockers, well, you're going to trample over with a 7-11. They probably have to throw a guy or 2 away to it. And if they want to do a 2-for-1 trade or a 3-for-1 trade, I might reanimate him again.
That's if they can even block it.
If they can even block it.
Most people are running blue. This guy's probably just unblockable for the most part.
An unblockable 7 hit? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Very good.
Let's talk about Sepulchral Primordial. Woo. This guy's really fun to bring back because he also brings back buddies from other graveyards.
When I first saw this, I was like, oh, that gets guys from other graveyards. And I was like, wait a second. If you reanimate him, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right? So 5 black. This is 7 drop for a 5/4 Intimidate. Right? Let's not forget that he also has Intimidate. So if there's a player who's not playing black, he is also unblockable.
Yep.
When Sepulchral Primordial enters the battlefield, for each opponent, you may put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard under the battlefield under your control. Great.
So good.
And I'll just give you a little preview right now. I'm not going to talk about him, but one of the ways this deck wants to stay alive is I run a lot of Wrath effects. Because I don't have a ton of early action, so I'm just going to keep that board clear. So I expect to put a lot of creatures in my opponent's graveyards before I get to my big Reanimator push.
And even if you're just getting, the thing is about this is you might be expecting to get huge creatures from your opponents or whatever, but even if you just get a couple of nice utility creatures, you're pretty happy because ability to reanimate this guy, it's not going to cost you 7 if you want to reanimate him. It'll cost you the 2 for Animate Dead or the whatever.
Or 4 for the flashback of that Unburial Rights.
Yeah, or the 2. Anyways, we'll get there.
You'll see.
Yeah.
But I'll take a Burnished Heart.
Totally.
There's always those in the graveyard. I'll take a Yavimaya Elder.
Yeah, sure.
No problem.
What a laugh.
Yeah. And then finally, this she's her own Reanimator as well. This is Rhea Dawnbringer, 6, white, another 9. Legendary creature Angel. She's a 4/6. She flies. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to play. She's a Reanimator.
She is a Reanimator, and she is a Reanimator target as well, right?
Right. And I'll let you know, again, spoiler alert, some of our Reanimator spells are instants, so I can cast them at the end of my opponent's turn, have her appear just in time for my upkeep, and reanimate another thing.
That's great.
That other thing won't get to attack, but I've got a lot of great ETB guys. For example, Sepulchral Primordial, no problem.
If you're watching the video of this podcast, you are seeing the cards as we talk about them, and you're also seeing the prices. If you look right at the top there, and that's from magiccards.info. And for each one, I've chosen the cheapest version of that. And this one, the cheapest version is like a foil Magic Game Day. And I know this because I have one, because I bought one, and I was like, oh yeah, this foil. It's really weird. The foiling is very strange on it, though. It doesn't look very good.
It
but
looks
anyways,
smudged.
It is, yeah, it looks a bit smudged. But Ray of Dawnbringer, great, huge card, classic Reanimator.
Great
thing.
Reanimator.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so we got our key spirits over on my side of things, the spirit friends. So we want to make a lot of spirits also. Not only are we going to cast some key spirits, we're going to make a lot of the little token ones. So first one that comes into play, or that comes into mind rather, certainly is not the first one that comes into play because he costs 7. It's 6 and a white for a 3/6 named Oyobi, who split the heavens. If you can't tell, this is from Betrayers of Kamigawa.
Yeah.
And a lot of good spirits were printed in that block. This being one of them for sure. It's a flying 3/6. It's a legendary. This could be a commander of a deck, maybe. Whenever you play a spirit or an arcane spell, put a 3/3 white spirit creature token with flying into play.
What a weird token.
Yeah, a 3/3 white spirit with flying. So most of the tokens we're going to make are 1/1s. This one just happens to make 3/3s. I mean, it costs 7 mana to get this guy out there, but once you have him out, you start playing your spirit spells, and you're going to make some big flyers people have to deal with. Oyobi is definitely something that is going to be a bit more of a late game play. So hopefully we can hopefully we can protect it once it's out. But one of the great things about these colors is that protection is pretty easy, whether it's blue counter spells or black killing some creature that is threatening you or whatever. So these colors are great for that. This ends up being kind of like a token control deck almost. It's kind of strange because I included a lot of counter spells in it. Okay, so after Oyobi, we have Spirit Bonds. It's an enchantment from M15. It costs 1 and a white. And it says, whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 white. If you do, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. That's great. There are a lot of spirit non-token creatures we have in here. So Spirit Bonds, if you can get that down early, you're going to have a lot of spirits to deal with after that. And then this ability actually isn't this. It has another ability, and it's not going to be super relevant because almost all of our creatures are spirits. But it says 1 and a white, sacrifice a spirit, target non-spirit creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Generally, this is like one of the big pluses of this card. But here it's not going to be super relevant. We do have some non-spirit creatures, but not too many. So it is just gravy, just a little bonus when you get it. Otherwise, we're just making spirits with this.
This card is
tacking on an extra white.
This card is very powerful.
It really is.
If you are not in a spirit primary, but like a token deck anyway,
you don't even need to be in a token deck because it's whenever a non-token creature.
Yeah, so you're getting for 1 extra mana, you're getting a little token, a little flying spirit. But that indestructibility, right? Like you're investing in future indestructibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
This is even just good in an ETB deck if you're bouncing and flickering creatures, because it's whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you can pay the 1 white.
I would also almost say this is excellent in a sort of like a Voltron-y deck, because you always keep you make a couple of spirits and you always have a little bit of indestructibility insurance in case your main Voltron gets threatened.
Yeah, it's a good card. It's a very good card. And as I did play with this deck a tiny bit, and I did get Spirit Bonds out once, and even without using that second ability, this card is still very good in this deck. So keep an eye out for that. Finally, for our Spirit Makers, we got Drogskull Cavalry. And again, another one from Shadows over Innistrad. Shadows over Innistrad giving us a lot of good spirit cards.
Oh, just wait.
For sure.
Probably get some more.
Well, exactly. Hopefully Eldritch Moon gives us a few. But Drogskull Cavalry is another big one. It's 5 and 2 white. So a 7 mana 4/4 with flying. And it says, whenever another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life.
Wow.
So that's just adding on to what Oloro is doing for you. And then it has the ability of 3 and a white, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield.
If you got
Very good.
if no one made you fire off a counterspell, or if you don't got nothing else to do with that mana,
Exactly.
just pop out another spirit, no problem.
Exactly. This is a mana sink. Mana sinks are so good, especially in Commander. There's a lot of times where you might have, you've kind of spent your hand out there and you've got all this mana kicking around, and maybe you've drawn lands last couple turns. You're flooding out a bit. Drogsoul Cavalry gives you something to do with all that mana, and it's something very useful.
Especially if you're just reacting to everything and you're just holding that mana up, right?
He's going to keep you alive too. You're going to be gaining life off that.
The worst part about counterspelly instanty decks is when you hold up a lot of mana just in case and no one does anything, and then you got nothing to do with it.
Just no one does anything worthwhile. It's like, well, I'm not going to counter that. Who cares?
Yeah, it's like, well, here's what you do with that mana. You make more spirits.
You drog skull cavalry.
Drog that skull through the mud.
Yeah. This might be worth putting in my what's her face there?
What's her face?
God of the Polis.
Ifara,
yeah, because like you said, you end up leaving mana up a lot in that deck, and this would not only gains you life, adds that control element.
Get her trigger of a creature coming in too.
Yeah.
Yep, he's great for her.
All right, so there you go.
Okay, and so now let's go back to the classic Reanimator. What are the spells that do this? Here's a few. Let's talk about Stitch Together. This card is cheap to cast, as in the sense it costs just black. Sorcery. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand.
Hold on.
Oh, that's not Reanimate?
That's not Reanimate.
What about Threshold? Instead, return that card from your graveyard to play. That's not the Oracle text, but you get it, right?
The Oracle text is right here.
If you have Threshold, which means you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, and guess what? We're pitching stuff to our graveyard. We always have 7 or more cards in the graveyard, basically. Then this just becomes a 2 mana, put something from the graveyard into play. Cool.
Powerful ability.
Yeah, deal with it or let it stomp you.
The advantage you'd get in a normal game of Magic with this is that you get to cast it kind of early if you can do it. The advantage you get in Commander is that you're spending basically nothing to do it, right? You're going to get your Inkwell Leviathan that costs, 9 mana or something? For 2. So you're going to be able to do a lot of other stuff as well, which is so good.
Okay, and then what about this one? What about Shadows over Innistrad giving us the lovely Ever After? 4 black for a sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those cards is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Put Ever After on the bottom of its owner's library.
Man, I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards from Shadows over Innistrad.
You get 2 back.
Yeah, you get 2.
So for 6 mana, if I can pull a couple of 9s out, I'm getting 18 mana worth of creatures for 6.
Ugh, unreal. If you have a way to oh man, what was that card where it's like you remember there was some repeatable tutor enchantment we featured?
Oh no, I don't remember.
Because this gets put on the bottom of your library after, it's like if you had that, and anyways, I don't remember, so whatever. But
I need to look that up. That would be good in this deck.
Yeah, being able to repeat this is so good. This is just a better version, I think, of the 5 mana one of this, the Beacon of Unrest, I believe it's called.
Beacon of Unrest, yeah, Beacon of Unrest, which didn't make the cut because it's not budget right now.
Exactly.
It's expensive. So spend 1 more mana.
Get 2 creatures.
Get 2. And it doesn't shuffle itself back in.
Right.
But we're going to shuffle our deck a bunch anyway.
Yeah, you're going to shuffle your library.
It's going to get shuffled.
Yeah.
We might draw this again.
Exactly.
Cool.
Ever After. Great card. I love it.
And then another Value Town one is, I mentioned earlier, Unburial Rites. The fact Reanimator colors are traditionally blue and black.
Yeah.
Those are the colors that we understand Reanimator to be. So, but when we include white, we get access to this beautiful, beautiful card.
It's beautiful. Look at the art on this beautiful card.
Don't look too close.
Of this crazy dying skeleton woman.
Yeah. Is she pulling on the window? Or does her head not have any muscles, so that's just how it hangs?
Oh, she came out of the crypt there, and she's pulling on that window. She wants to get out of that crypt.
Yeah, she pulling hard.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
It looks like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt.
Yes, it does. It does.
Hello, boils and ghouls. Let me out of this crypt.
Great. That guy was awesome.
That guy was great.
He was kind of a cool dude. Right?
He was
kind of just like too cool for school about the horror stuff.
But he was always like eating, like he was always doing something creepy when you like came in on the show, and he's like eating soup out of a skull or something.
That's pretty badass.
That's pretty badass. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just giving himself a tattoo with a with a dragon claw.
I love that they were like, okay, when he says the greeting's gonna be something scary, so we say like, oh, like boys and girls, like ladies and gentlemen, that's too hard to do. Girls, ghouls. What can we do with boys? And someone was like, oh, I don't know, boils. Is that scary? Someone's like, yeah, boils are pretty scary, I guess.
Well,
That's kind of the best we got.
Yeah, it's due at 5, and it's quarter 2. So I guess.
Listen, man, we just got to get the script out. Just write boils.
Yeah.
Boils are scary now.
Hello, boys and ghouls.
Hey, man, I got a boil. Lancet. Anyways.
Did we say what this card was yet?
Very all right.
We're talking about the art. So let's so for 5 mana, 4 and a black for a sorcery, you get to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Classic Reanimator, but it has flashback 3 and a white. This card has 2 colors in its color identity, white and black. We can do that.
Yep.
So again, if we need to pitch 2 cards to forbid, for example, I'm happy to pitch this one because it's cheaper to cast as flashback than as regular.
Yep.
And as I said, there's a lot of 9 drops in this deck. 5 plus 4 is 9. You can either
5 plus 4
cast
is 9.
5 plus 4 is 9.
That's correct.
You can cast.
You can't argue that.
No, that is true.
That's
you know
a
what?
fact.
6 plus 3 also 9.
Also 9.
9 plus 0.
We could do this all night.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, we're here.
But we're gonna stop now. I'm gonna say I could cast a 9-drop from my hand, or I could cast Unburial Rites and then flash it back same turn, also for 9, and get 2 9-drops or whatever drops from my graveyard.
Yeah.
This card is great.
I've got this guy in my Carador deck, and my favorite thing is like, at first, I would always try and get it to my hand so I could reanimate 2 things, of course. Like, that's when you're talking Value Town, right? But don't be afraid to mill this. Like, if you mill this, great.
Yeah, if
like,
this
what a
is
laugh it is.
If this is in a Forbidden Alchemy batch and I got to pick a card to keep and a card to throw away, I want to throw this one away.
Yeah, you want to throw this one away and keep maybe the other one or whatever else you need
Yeah.
there. So Unburial Rites is so good for that reason.
So good.
So good. Okay, take a look at the old spirits again. We got our key spirits out. We've got spirit makers. And now let's talk about some of the other non-spirit things that we've included in the deck that are going to help us out.
The Island of Misfit Toys.
The orphans. Yeah, the outcasts, if you will. So first we have the Angel of Flight Alabaster. She is a 4 and a white for a 4/4 flying angel, and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, return target spirit card from your graveyard to your hand. So a little bit of recursion there, always good. Obviously, in Commander, we want to extend our hands to the graveyard. She helps us do that. A funny little interaction I thought of for this card that I've included in the deck. Is one that our friend Ben sort of has going on with his. He has a sort of Reanimator style deck going on, and I've included Crib Swap, which I don't have in the notes or anything. But Crib Swap is the 2 and a white, and you exile a creature, and then they get a 1/1 shapeshifter.
Yeah.
But the key for Crib Swap is that it's creature or it's spell. It's an instant. It's a tribal instant shapeshifter.
So it counts as every creature type.
Exactly. So that is a spirit card.
Even though it's an instant that exiles a creature.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
So if you get those 2 cards together, which of course is, maybe you're dreaming about that, but if for some spirits or Crib Swap is just good enough to have on its own period, and so is Angel of Flight Alabaster. So if you get those 2, though, you get this little bonus of being able to recur a really great removal spell. So that's kind of a neat little trick. And that works for any thing that returns creature types to your hands. You can use those.
Crib Swap, don't forget it.
Crib Swap, yeah, it's great. Next, and of course, obviously, we're going to bring all the wicked spirits we have back as well. That goes without saying. Next, we have here, so this is sort of the linchpin and a key part of the strategy to this deck. Yeah, put the forks up, dude.
Make the
put them
Bident.
up.
Make the
Bident with your hand.
Yeah.
Bident Athasa, and its sort of older cousin, Coastal Piracy. I'll read Bident, though, first. Bident Athasa is 2 and 2 blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. It's a legendary artifact enchantment. And it also says pay 1 and a blue and tap it. Creatures your opponents control attack this turn available. So that that sometimes becomes relevant if you got someone blocking a lot and you don't want them to block anymore. Just force those guys to attack.
I also like to use this if there's a player whose board is not very developed and yours is kind of developed, but we're not at like attacky mode yet.
Uh-huh.
Use it on someone else's turn who has a board, and they're like, well, I'm not going to attack the guy with a developed board, so I got to attack you.
That's
Sorry.
picking on the person who's not ready yet.
Yeah,
That's
but
mean.
not with my creatures.
Not with your
I'm making
creatures.
someone else.
You're
do
making
it.
an enemy there for sure.
But I love it.
Yeah, and so Binding the Thassa, when you hit a player, you draw a card, and Coastal Piracy is just the exact same thing, except it doesn't have that attack ability, and it's just an enchantment. It costs 2 and 2 blue, and it says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. Yeah, these are really great when you're making a lot of evasive tokens. This is where you get to cash in on that. So if they hit, which they likely will, and even you're willing to even throw away a couple of those tokens if you got one of these guys out, just so that you can draw some extra cards off of it. So Coastal Piracy and Binding the Thassa. We also have the Eldrazi.
That Eldrazi guy. Yeah,
I always forget the name of it, but it is on the deck. So we have 3 ways to make that happen, and it's great. It really lets the deck like start rolling. If you can get one of these cards out.
These cards give you the Edric Spymaster of Trust ability.
Yes.
Only you don't have a deck full of 1/1 dummies.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You make 1/1 dummies.
You're making way more 1/1 dummies, and they're not so dumb because they're flying.
Yeah.
Which is the key. Okay, so we got those guys going, and then if you want to pump them up, which you're going to have to do, we got a couple ways to do that. I mentioned we also have some ways to shrink down your opponent's flyers specifically, but Thunderclap Wyvern from the recent Magic Origins, it's actually from Eternal Masters as well, is in this deck. It's a 2 and a white and a blue for a Drake. It started from the bottom. Now he's here. He's a 2/3. He's got flash and flying, and it says other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. So he'll pump up all your spirits, whether they are the 1/1 tokens or if they're the creatures you have, as long as they're flying. And I'd say about 90% of the creatures in this deck are flying. Although not all spirits have flying.
That's strange.
It is strange, and I don't like it. But it's like a lot of the Kamigawa spirits don't have flying. But like if there's a spirit in any other set, they have flying pretty much every time.
Yeah.
It's just the Kamigawa block that didn't. Well, not just, but it's mostly the Kamigawa block that didn't include flying on them. So this is great, and like there's other Anthem effects we have in there. We've got the artifact that pumps spirits and make sure arcane spells cost 1 less. That dud rare from Modern Masters 2. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, Kami of.
No, it's not Kami. It's like something of Go High or something like.
Oh yeah.
It's the artifact.
Yeah.
We've also got a card that I loved in limited. And apologies, I didn't get it ready for this because I didn't know I was going to talk about it. But it's Smog Elemental, I think it's called.
Oh, with his little eyeballs.
It's a 6 mana 3/3 black flyer, and it says all creatures your opponents control with flying get -1/-1. And like I've kind of always wanted to use them in a commander deck, and it never ever made sense except for now.
Yeah.
If we're shrinking down their flyers to the size of our little dudes, then great, we love that. So we'll attack in and we'll trade with those guys. We don't care. So yeah, Thunderclap Wyvern is the pump way. There's also a couple ways to shrink them down as well.
Oh man.
So
let's do the 3 steps. That's kind of like the details of it, right?
Yeah.
Those are the major categories. So let's break down some of the stars of the deck. These are the 3 stars of the deck. The 3 cards that perform excellently in this deck specifically.
Correct.
Starting with the classic Reanimator, let's go Pulse of the Grid. So I had to do some math on this one, but here's what it does. 1 blue for an instant. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card from your hand. That's the key. We want to discard cards. Then, if an opponent has more cards in hand than you, return Pulse of the Grid to its owner's hand. So, I'll just tell you right now, I worked it out. If you compare hand sizes before you cast this, if it's bigger before you cast it, it will do what you want.
Oh, okay. So if I have 5 cards in my hand
and I have
and you have
4,
4 and then you cast
I cast Pulse of the Grid, so I go down to 3 because Pulse of the Grid is in the graveyard. Okay, right?
Yep.
I draw 2, I go back up to 5. I'm now tied with you.
Yeah.
I now discard a card as part of the effect. So now I am down to 4.
Then it checks.
And so I'm back to my original number.
Right.
Pulse of the Grid takes you back to your original number.
Yep.
But you get Pulse of the Grid back, so which takes me back up to 5. So I actually am up a card.
Right.
And I've gotten a big fatty in the graveyard. And I've drawn 2 cards.
Right. And
So I can do this again and again as long as someone at the table has more cards than me.
how does this compare to just something like a looter or something?
I because looters are obviously way more fragile.
Right. Right.
Looters die to everything.
To everything, right? Board
Yeah.
wipes. And
But this thing sits in my hand, and if I need to draw a couple cards, pitch a card, no problem.
cool.
I'm just going to do that a whole bunch until I got what I need.
It essentially has like buyback, but like it's like situational buyback.
Free buyback as long as you
Yeah.
don't have just a monster amount of cards. And since I'm pitching a lot of cards anyway, I probably don't have the most cards most of the time.
That's true. You're gonna. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Unlimited.
So that's the number 3 star. What's the
Number
number 2?
Ooh, this guy cool. He's one of our big guys.
Speaking of Kamigawa,
Yeah, right? Kuro, Pit Lord. 6, black. He's a legendary creature, demon spirit. He's 9/9. He's awesome right on his own. But
Yeah.
here's why he's in here. I mean, not right here. Here's a caveat. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Kuro Pit Lord unless you pay black. Right?
Oops.
You got to pay a lot of
in
mana.
there. Anyways, carry on.
You got to pay a lot of mana in order to keep him on the table, or else he goes back to the graveyard. But here is the key ability, right? Pay 1 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Like, there's no tap. There's no other cost. You just pay a life. Now, keep in mind, we're running Oloro. So we've been gaining a bunch of life this whole game. So it's very reasonable to just be like, okay, I'm going to reanimate Kuro the Pit Lord. Okay, how much life would it take to clear your board? 15? Sure, I'll pay 15 and give all your creatures -1/-1 until they're all dead. And now your board's clear.
Yeah.
I don't need Kuro anymore. I'm going to let him die. I'm not going to pay the black next turn. Or I will, and because I have tons of mana. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now your board is empty, and I'll just walk through.
I definitely thought about including this guy in mine, actually.
Yeah.
But it was a little mana intensive for me, I thought, and I'm obviously not going to be able to reanimate him as easily as you. So
Sure.
the 9 casting cost was a bit prohibitive for me. But this is a good creature with almost any Oloro build, really. Like being able
Right.
to pay that 1 life and just kill those indestructible, like pay 8 life and kill Avacyn, right? Like
Sure.
So that's pretty good, and it's nothing to pay that amount of life with Oloro.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And then the number 1 star I put in here, it's in the alphabetical team of FOR cards.
Yeah.
This is Forgotten Creation. He's 3 and a blue from Shadows of Innistrad. He's got Skulk as a 3/3, which is a bit weird. Usually you want a little power for a Skulk, but who cares? We're not attacking with him. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand. If you do, draw that many cards. Man, I did not think he would be the star of the deck until I did a little play testing, and every time he was on the board, it was exactly what I wanted.
Wow.
You always pitch your hand, because here's the thing, like, a lot of our cards we can flashback from the graveyard anyway. We got them burial rights. I'm happy to pitch it. So, and I'm constantly pitching giant creatures. So my next draw, let's say I pitch 5, draw 5. Oh, do I have a reanimating spell in there? I'm gonna cast it. Next turn, pitch 4, draw 4, bull draw 5 because your normal draw. I probably pitched another couple big guys. I probably drew another reanimate spell. Do it again. The selection of big guys gets bigger, and the amount of reanimate spells you draw is never ending.
Wow.
You just do it every turn. This guy is key.
So good, yeah.
So good.
And you can tell it's going to be good when you play with this guy in limited and stuff, because he's even pretty good in there. But when you really tune a deck to make this card work with everything going in there, I'm not surprised this is the number 1 star.
So good. I did not see that coming until I tested it, and then I was like, man, this guy is I always want him out.
Would you reanimate him if someone killed him?
That's a good point. I think I would.
Yeah.
Because
It's an engine for your deck,
yeah,
right?
it's a huge engine. The only time I wouldn't is if I had a mitt full of reanimated spells and I already had a ton of dudes in the graveyard and I couldn't foresee needing to do this for a long time.
Right. Cool. Well, that's cool. It's neat that the new set has been like really good to both of our decks, it seems. Let's take a look at my 3 stars with the spirits, the
Yes.
Spirit Tribal. Number 3 star in this deck is Drogskull Reaver.
Ooh.
Another big mana spirit from this deck. There are a couple of them for sure, and they're all very good, as I've talked about. But Drogskull Reaver, definitely one of the best. It's 5 and a white and a blue, so 7 mana for a 3/5 flying double strike lifelink. Yikes. That's powerful stuff. We featured him on the show before, but he's very, very good. And it says, whenever you gain life, draw a card. So obviously, his ability works with himself very well. The double strike lifelink will let you draw 2 cards if he were to hit a creature or a player. But also with, you can just sit there with Oloro, you're gaining that life at the beginning of your upkeep. He's just going to draw you a card on your upkeep, which is, it's a nice bonus. Maybe not worth the 7 mana, but with the flying, the double strike, the lifelink, the fact that it's a spirit, the fact that we're pumping spirits and things with flying, Drogskull Reaver gets really big, really easily, and becomes an absolute beast. The lifelink, everything about it. It's just one of the best creatures in the deck for sure. If you run into Spirit Tribal, you got to have your Drogskull Reaver. Drogskull everything. I should have just searched for the word Drogskull. That didn't even occur to me, but I think I have just about everyone in here anyways. Number 2 star of the deck, Drogskull Captain. Of course. He's 1 white and a blue for a 2/2 flyer, Spirit Soldier. And it says, other spirit creatures you control get +1/+1 and have hexproof. The hexproof is very good because
oh my gosh,
most of the pumping we have is going to come from other creatures. Also, most of the shrinking. So you protect your anthems this way. You protect your big guys like your Drogskull Reavers. Obviously, you're not too worried about it when it comes to the tokens or whatever, but the hexproof is a real nice little addition. And the only one who doesn't get the hexproof is this guy himself. But he's really great. Very, very good.
You protect your rattle chains with it?
Oh yeah, you can if you have him the opposite way, rattle chains can protect him.
Yeah, for a one shot.
One shot, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which of these is better, like the captain or the reaver. So they might be interchangeable a little bit. But the number 1 star, what's that?
They share a locker.
They do share a locker for sure. Maybe they're tied for 2. Maybe there is no number 3 star really. But the number 1 star, I think this is pretty much without a doubt, is Twilight Drover.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's good in every token deck you could ever want him in. He's good in just about any +1/+1 counter deck you'd ever want him in. And the fact that he's a spirit and makes spirits makes him just the number 1 star of this deck for sure. He's if you don't know what he is, he's 2 and a white for a 1/1. He's a spirit. He says, whenever a creature token leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Twilight Drover. Then you can pay 2 and a white, remove a +1/+1 counter from Twilight Drover, put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield.
1 becomes 2.
1 becomes 2 very easily.
For the price of 3 mana.
Yeah. And like I said, when you're swinging, when you're attacking with your spirits, and you've got your Binding of Thassa out, you're drawing cards. They gotta block you sometime because you're going to be these creatures are going to be pumped up. They're going to be big enough that eventually people are just going to start blocking. And when they do, Twilight Drover just starts making even more of them. It's like a Hydra. You cut one of the heads off, 2 more grow back.
Yeah, like a Spirit Hydra.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And if you got a sack outlet in there, it's even better.
Ugh.
Yeah, Twilight Drover, the best spirit making card I think probably in Commander.
Maybe.
So yeah, there you have it.
Man. Let's talk about any cool surprises or discoveries, any cool cards.
We got a few this week.
And I actually want to add a third to this.
Ooh, okay.
I'll be quick though.
We can do that for sure.
Cool. So my first is Moonlight Bargain. I think I glanced at this card before, or maybe like this came up once, but I totally forgot about it. But in doing research for this Reanimator deck, this card is incredible, and I want to keep it in mind whenever I want like stuff in the graveyard. It's 3 black for an instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. For each card, put that card into your graveyard unless you pay 2 life. Then put the rest into your hand. Right? Mm-hmm. So basically, it's a draw 5, pay 10 life, or any combination of it.
Right.
If you want all those cards in the graveyard, cool. You spend 5 mana, you've got nothing. If you just want 1 card, you pay 2 life. Paying 2 life is not hard for Oloro.
No, not at all.
So I can keep my Reanimator spells and let everything else go to the graveyard. That is so useful.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty nice.
And if I just need to draw tons of cards, I'll pay 10 life.
Yeah, it's paying 10 life sounds like it's too much, but with Oloro, it really isn't.
Yeah. And let's talk about Vengeful Dreams. I would only ever run this in any deck where like discarding can be a positive, and obviously you have to be running white because it's an instant that costs white. As an additional cost to play Vengeful Dreams, discard X cards from your hand. Remove X target attacking creatures from the game. So exile X target attacking creatures. That's great. That's just great. That's just great. Like for 2 white mana and discards which are positive, right? So if I'm holding a few large cards in my hand and this, I'm like, great. You want to attack? Cool. You got that Bide Nathasa? Hit it.
And there's going to be times when you don't even have the big creature, but you still got just anything else, and someone's coming at you with their Xenagos or
it exiles.
You know what I mean? Their Xenagod thing, and so
yeah,
you can exile it.
Yeah, great card. Good. I mean, it's narrow, right? They have to be attacking, but I just think if discarding a card is a positive for any deck you've got, this is going to be very good, very good. And then the one I wanted to add, it's called Grozoth, Grozoth. Grozoth. Check it out. Grozoth is a 9 mana creature. It's a Leviathan. 6 blue. Defender. Whoa. Check this out.
Defender.
When Grozoth comes into play, you may search your library for any number of cards that have converted mana cost 9, reveal them, put them into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. Do you remember how many times I referred to 9-drops? A lot. Yeah. Because I built around this guy.
Whoa,
I put
really?
a ton of 9-drops in here. They're all amazing because they cost 9. Kuro the Pit Lord, for example. Yeah. Rhea Dawnbringer, for example.
There you go.
I've got Artisan of Kozilek. I didn't talk about him, but he's also 9.
Wow.
There's so many 9s. And if you get this guy out, so imagine you got this guy and you have that like Bring to Light spell. It's like, cool. White, discard my 4 9-drops. 4 of your attacking creatures are exiled, and now my graveyard is full of beef.
Wow, full of beef.
Yeah, and then as an extra thing, you can pay 4 generic. Grozoth loses Defender till end of turn, so you can attack with him as a 9/9. And he's got Transmute for 1 blue. So if he's in your hand and you have no way to get him to the graveyard right now, you're like, I don't know, I want someone else. You can pay 1 blue as a sorcery and trade him up for a different 9-drop.
Right on.
If there's one like maybe Kuro the Pit Lord, for example.
Yeah.
This guy's great.
Yeah, it just makes everything like a McDonald's dumpster full of beef.
Oh boy, full of beef and like fry chips, like little bits.
Yeah, just the bits,
the nubs that go to the bottom of the fryer,
or the gray chicken nuggets. You get that odd. Oh, the meat's gray in this one. We can't use these anymore. That happens for sure. Oh, I got a claw. Put that one in the dumpster. Grows off it. I have 2 as well here. One in the deck, one that I did not include in the deck, but I really wanted to mention it real quick.
Sure.
So first is Kagimaro, I guess is that how you pronounce it?
Kagimaro, I think.
Kagimaro. First to Suffer. It's from Saviors of Kamigawa. It's 3 and 2 black for a demon spirit. It's legendary. It has star. It says Kagimaro, first to Suffer's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. So we got a lot of ways to draw cards. So this guy generally be pretty big, but even if he's not, a 4 or 5 sized dude is fine. And it says pay 1 black, sacrifice Kagimaro. All creatures get -X till end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So he's just a board wipe. For a -X board wipe for how many cards are in your hand. So if you've got a deck where you're drawing lots of cards and it's got black in it, consider this guy as a 6 mana like board wipe that takes care of indestructible creatures and things like that. Just because I know sometimes it's hard to find those efficient board wipes or those cheaper board wipes. This guy's $1.50, and you can recur him.
He's a spirit.
Yeah, he's a spirit. He's a creature. So if you've got any kind of Reanimator deck, or if you've got whatever demon tribal, even just another option for you. That seems really good and works well with blue, which is why I included him in our deck here. So he's really fun. And then the other one I got here is Spirit Endal. Now, I didn't end up including the Spirit because the specific ability wasn't quite as good as I wanted, but in a lot of other decks, I would definitely consider this card. Spirit Endal is 2 and a white for a 2/1 Spirit with Shadow, which, if you're not familiar with Shadow, it's basically just another kind of flying. It says this creature can block or be blocked only by creatures with Shadow. So it's like flying, but it can only block other Shadow creatures, right?
Yeah, I like to think of it that they just live on another plane.
Yeah.
And shadow creatures have their own fights going on.
They have their whole other... Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Now, Spirit Endal, that's not good enough, really, enough to include it in any deck. But here's the ability. Forecast, which is a weird one. Forecast 1 and a white. Reveal Spirit Endal from your hand. Target creature gains Shadow until end of turn. So, and the way Forecast works is you play this ability only during your upkeep and only once each turn. So what this does is it says you pay 1 and a white. You just reveal it from your hand. You don't cast it. You don't do anything like that. On your upkeep, one of your creatures gets Shadow, and then
which is
that's
basically
it.
to say unblockable.
Unblockable, right.
The only other shadow that I can think of that gets run to any degree is Looter Ilkor.
Yeah.
The one that when it hits a player, it loots. And since it's got shadow, it's always going to hit players. Like, there's the occasional shadow card, but you never cast this card.
You never cast it.
It's like an enchantment that said that, but it can't be hit by enchantment hate.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Forecast is a triggered ability, correct? Because you have to play it on your upkeep.
I think it's
maybe it is an activated ability.
I think it's an activated ability.
Either way, if it's it is an activated. You're right, because there's a colon. So it's an activated ability, which means it can't be countered.
Right.
So I mean, if you've got if you got a guy dead on board, if it just needs to be unblockable, they need a counter activated ability thing.
Right.
So I think this card is really neat. I think it's really good. It's very hard to deal with this. It's a constant 1 and a white. Give one of your creatures unblockable.
Yeah, get that Drog Skull Reaver with Shadow, so they can't block that double strike 3 hit. Draw 2 cards.
Now, like I said, I didn't end up actually including this in this deck. Although I think it could. I just needed to cut it for numbers and stuff. But I'm going to get this card because I think this goes in a lot of decks.
Wow.
Cool. There we go. Those are the decks.
Hoo-wee.
And but quickly before we get to the budget report, we got to quickly talk about wizardtower.com again. The Wizard's Tower. As you know, you can go on there and now they have a U.S. store.
Yep.
As well as their Canadian store. You can use our coupon code Tower of Brews.
Tower of Brews.
That'll get you 5% off of any order $15 or more. Again, that works in the States as well now. Free shipping on singles in Canada, $15 or more, and in the United States for $10 or more.
What?
You get free shipping. Yeah, it's different.
Free shipping, $10 or more. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. That's pretty killer. They've got an open qualifier coming up June 25th. It's standard. It's going to be down there. If you're in the Ottawa area, drop in, say hey. I don't know if they're still doing the Eternal Masters drafts, but they were.
Yeah.
They were doing them a bit down there, and that seemed fun. But yeah, check them out. wizardtower.com. It's where we get our singles from. You can sell to them as well, both US Canadian stores, so hook it up.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I'm sure they'll be doing pre-orders for Eldritch Moon.
You can
soon.
already pre-order Eldritch Moon.
Pre-order.
Yep.
Ooh-wee.
You sure can. So yeah, jump on over there, wizardtower.com, the Wizard's Tower.
Yeah.
They also give you 3% on your next order when you do that.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
It's funny because every time I order from them, I'm always like, hey, I got like $1 something in store credit.
That's the 3% kickback.
That's the 3% coming right back at you.
Yeah. So you're saving 5% because of our coupon code. You're saving. You get free shipping. You get 3% kickback. Let's say shipping is going to be like $2, right? You're saving a lot of money.
Well, if you order over a certain amount, though, it's going to be free shipping.
That's what I'm saying.
Singles.
Like I'm just if you had to pay for shipping.
Oh, if you had to.
all the deals you get.
Yeah,
that's a lot of deals.
It's a lot of deals. It's great deals. It's a great place. Okay, so let's get to the budget report.
This is where we take all of the cards and we turn them into an alloy. We mix them with tin. See which ones turn into steel and which ones bubble up into a crumbly mess. the ones that turn into steel, we will forge and fight off our enemies with them.
We're doing a lot with this one.
Yeah,
We're doing a whole lot with this one.
A lot
Okay.
with this one.
Okay, so what do you got for the budget report?
Okay,
What'd your deck
so,
come in at?
My deck came in just under $50. I forget the exact amount. I didn't write it down, but it was like 48 and change, 48 and a gumball, let's say, something like that. Most expensive card, Sol Ring.
Yep.
$250.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Just a simple, Sol Ring, tap it, add 2 to your mana pool.
Not much to say there.
This deck does cheat on mana a lot, right? By getting big creatures out for cheaper, but this is a way to get them out even cheaper. If, for some reason, you feel that is unfair and you think, I'm already cheating on mana, I don't need Sol Ring. That's cool. You could save $250, you could cut it, but like, don't.
I cut it from mine.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
I need to save that money.
Yeah.
$250 right now is generally what you're looking for. Again, American prices here, but that's generally the cheapest one you can find for a medium sort of of medium quality or whatever.
Yeah.
So look around for that.
Next most expensive card is Day of Judgment. Classic. 2 white, destroy all creatures. Sorcery. As I mentioned before, I have quite a few board wipes. This is one of them. And that is because we don't have a ton of early action, and if we can't get the engine going fast enough, we need to protect ourselves from menacing boards. So I have quite a few of these. That being said, I could probably spare one. I could cut one. So we could save another $225 here.
Like how many of the 6-mana ones do you have? Do you have Kirtar's Wrath? Do you have Phyrexian?
No, here I think
those ones. Those are cheaper.
Are those also 4 mana?
No, they're 6 mana.
No, yeah.
They're
So I mean, I've got Life's Finale.
You want that lower.
I got Life's Finale. I got Black Sun Zenith. I got a bunch.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. And then the third most expensive card is Void Winnower. Another 9-drop, may I point out?
Oh, nice.
Right? This guy is just over $2. It's the 9 colorless, so 9 generic mana for an Eldrazi who's an 11/9. Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana costs, and your opponents can't block with creatures with even converted mana costs. I expect to use this guy as like a later reanimation after I've got a few giant dudes on the board, and I'm like, I noticed that your board is mostly even converted mana costs. So pop out Void Winnower. Now your whole team basically can't block, and then here I come in.
Wow.
Notice tokens have a 0 converted mana cost.
Sure do.
So they can never block with this guy out.
Amazing. Yeah, that's going to...
And that's $2, but I say that's a keep for sure.
Yeah. I love that they had to include the reminder text of 0 is even for people who didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Knew that. Okay, for me, the budget report, I came in pretty good this week. $44.28.
Oh wait, you didn't
USD.
you didn't like squeeze in another $3 there?
No, I almost did.
Put that Sol Ring back in.
I almost put in Vidalcan Orrery.
Ooh, flash them out.
Yeah, flash them out. But you know what? We cut it instead. We made a cheaper deck this way. So for me, the number 3 most expensive card in the deck is Drogskull Reaver. We already talked about him. He's the 7 mana 3/5 with the double strike flying lifelink. He's $1.99, about $2. I think you keep this guy. He's just so good.
8 gumballs.
I don't know how you're gonna have a Spirit Tribal deck without this guy in it, honestly. So Drogskull Reaver is definitely a keep. Next, again another very on theme Spirit with our commander even as well as the rest of the deck is Divinity of Pride. It's 5 hybrid Orzhov for a 4/4 Spirit Avatar that says flying and lifelink. Divinity of Pride gets +4/+4 as long as you have 25 or more life.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we start with that much. Thank you very much. We start with more than that, so we're fine here.
And we keep gaining it every upkeep.
So Divinity of Pride is essentially an 8/8 flying lifelinker for 5 mana, which is very good. And it's been recently reprinted Commander. It's up and around $2 right now. I just think it's so good, and it's just such a beating. 8 mana lifelink, like that life swing is insane. 16 life.
Yeah, like an 8/8 flyer to begin with is amazing. It's got lifelink. That's nuts. And I just noticed. So this card, I feel in any Orzhov deck, it could be basically a staple.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Yeah.
And the artist for this card is Greg Staples.
Greg Staples.
Putting the art for the staples.
Yeah, he invented the store Staples. That's why we're impressed with that.
Yeah, which is why he could retire from his regular job and focus on his art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because he got all that staple money.
He got that Staples money. Yeah. which is also just what he calls his own money. So that's Staples money.
Yeah.
Okay, Divinity Pride. Yeah, it's worth keeping for $2 for sure. I mean, that's not a lot for such a great card. Finally, the most expensive card in the deck is Kega, the Tide Star. Again, we already talked about this one. It's the 6-mana 5/5 flyer that when it dies, you control a target creature. It's $4, but $4.15 or whatever. It's a very good card, but I think if you're looking to shave some money off this, if you want to make this a more of an even $40 deck, you could lose Kega for sure. That being said, we're pretty well under 50 here, so I kept it in. I had a good time with it, and I think it's a great card. And if you want this card, if you want this maybe for your staple binder, if you're considering it for that, I get it now because it seems like it's crawling back up.
Well, I remember there was a time when these like Star Dragons from Kamigawa, a lot of them were like big money.
Yeah.
And by big money, I mean like our podcast big money, like $10 to $15, things like that. And they were all mythics from the original Modern Masters set, which is probably a huge slap in the face if you open that mythic from that set, right? Like you probably didn't want to open these ones. Yeah. But that's great for us Commander players, right? Puts more in circulations, and they're under $5. Most of them, I think even the white and the black one, which are the more expensive ones, are still reasonably cheap.
Kokusho is about $10.
It's got back up to 10, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, I personally...
Yosei is cheaper. Yosei is about $5-6.
I think these are worth the staple binder. I think these cards are powerful enough. You're going to want them enough that they should go in the staple binder. So pick them up because I think they're just going to keep climbing.
Yeah, the only ones that I think are not powerful enough to be in the staple binder are like the green and the red one.
Yeah.
And the white one's mean. Yosei is mean.
That's true.
I mean, whatever. You want to be mean, go ahead. But I think definitely the best ones are the blue and the black one.
Blue and the black.
Kokusho and Kega, yeah. So there you go. Well under 50 this week. Having a bit of a laugh there. And what a fun and different way to do these this commander.
Are you tired of your Oloro deck? Give one of these builds a try.
Yeah, give one of these guys a try.
You can find our deck lists on tappedout.net/users/commandersbrew. We'll have mine and Andy's up there. You can see how they differ from yours.
I also wanted to mention very quickly that if you're listening to this and you wanted us to do a more classic Oloro build, guess what? We still can, and we probably will in the future at some point, because this is one of the reasons we wanted to do these types of commanders this way. You'll notice we did Mizzix kind of this way last week. We also did, and we did Oloro this time. But we can definitely and probably will again revisit these commanders and do a more classic style. Let us know though. Let us know on Twitter. We're at Commanders Brew there. Individually, I'm at Andy Hulbone.
I'm at Sean Tabares.
And and if you want to get more of a longer message to us, write us at our email at commandersbrew@gmail.com.
Yeah. We love getting those emails. And for sure. So check out our Patreon if you want. Check out that Super Brew coming up on, we're doing the Brew and Build, Brew and Brawl. What do we call it?
Brew and Brawl, not
Brew
Super
and Brawl
yeah.
on Sunday, if you haven't missed it already. But we're going to do one the last Sunday of every month, right?
Yep.
I haven't done the math yet, but we'll do one at the end of July.
Twitch.tv/commandersbrew there.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. You the best.
Goodbye. Entrepreneur, yeah. But anyways, we were talking about that. That we think there's a couple reasons. You do stuff in the command zone that no one else does. Like I think that's probably the main reason, right?
Or check out this 6-pack I got.
Yeah, it's really big.
It's cut.
Yeah, it is. It's very cut.
A single pack of mine is as big as you.
Yeah, here's the thing. I can't really see the 6-pack all that well. You're leaning pretty far back on that chair.
Oh,
there.
yeah. You want me to lean back a little further?
No. It's cool.
Is this far back enough?
Yeah.
Should I lean back a little more?
You know what? Honestly, as long as you're relaxed.
I'm pretty good.
You're pretty good. Okay.
Good. I could be more relaxed, though.
Oh, really? Why is
Where
that?
the brew's at? This Commander's Brew.
Yeah.
Give me a brew.
Yeah, it's not that kind of brew. It's
What?
Yeah.
What other kind of brew is there?
Well, like we refer to like brewing a deck, like the creation process sort of thing. You know what I mean? How are you? What's your favorite style of deck that you're involved with?
Oh,
you like the life gain
kind.
angle?
The me kind.
Oh, the you kind.
Yeah, man.
So, do you like to be cast out of the command zone or not?
Heck yeah, I like to crush some heads. I like to get out there. I like to make people lose life. I love it.
So does it bug you that a lot of people just sort of let you sit there?
No, man, I'm cool. I got my Xbox.
Yeah, you're right. Is that what you're doing in that picture?
Yeah, man, I'm playing my Xbox. You don't see my wireless controller in that thing?
I can't see it.
Oh, yeah. In the corner of the card, you can see the corner of my TV stand.
Oh,
it's kind of diagonal.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. How you got that TV stand out in the woods there? That's pretty cool.
It's actually a drive-in.
Oh,
it's a drive-in movie theater that I hooked up to my HDMI.
Because you're a giant.
Yeah, I'm a giant.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Things that are big to you are normal size to me.
So that doesn't bug you at all. Is there anything that does bug you? Do you have anything that bugs you?
You referred to it a little bit earlier. I friggin' hate words that mean two things. It confuses me, man.
You hate synonyms?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, that's what it. So. Yeah, so like, I mean, what's a great example of
brew and brew, man?
Brew and brew,
it should be brews, brewskis, brewderinos.
But like, that's okay. So you don't like words that mean two things, like like fly. Fly is to like fly in the air, like a flying creature, and then also the insect is a fly, right? That's a fly.
What?
Yeah, there's two things, man. Or like a bat, right?
Yeah, bat. A bat is
what's a bat to you?
A bat is that thing that knocks them out of the park, right?
Yeah, right? Okay.
It's what my boys on the Blue Jays hit. I'm a fan of the Blue Jays.
You like the Blue Jays,
You're from Toronto, right?
I am, yes.
Love
originally.
them Blue Jays.
Oh, great. That's good. Okay, so then what's the creature that like the vampire turns into?
Oh, man,
those
little skin flappers. Oh,
skin flappers. Is that what you call them?
Yeah, those swatters. I swat them away. Little swatters.
That would be a creature type bat, though. See, that's a bat. Those are bats also.
Man, I don't read that middle of the card.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Words are stupid.
Oh, okay.
It's really stupid. Okay, Oloro.
Right.
How do you think you spell that?
Well, I mean, I know how to spell it, but just hearing it...
Take a guess. Take a guess.
Oloro.
Thank you.
Right?
But if you were a dumb phone, you would think I'm Oreo.
Okay.
Right?
You're talking about autocorrect.
I'm a cookie? What?
Autocorrect? Is that
who is this guy? Do you know something about this guy? Who's this autocorrect guy? Because I will crush him. I will stomp his face into the ground. I can do that. I'm a giant soldier. You know where this guy lives?
Yo, man. I think he lives inside your phone,
He
dude.
He lives inside my phone.
But he's not a real guy, I think.
I got an enemy in my phone. I'm going off the grid.
You're
going off the grid. I don't want an enemy in my phone, man. And that phone's with me all the time. That's how I text the ladies.
You got a huge phone too. I'm just looking at it right now.
Yeah.
It's massive. It's like the size of a car.
Yeah, I had to get one of my genius friends.
Yeah.
Take an old computer from 1970 when they were as big as rooms and put phone technology in it. So it's as big as an old computer, but it's a phone. I can play Candy Crush on it.
So wait, you're carrying around like an ENIAC computer that like used punch cards?
Yeah, man, but it has phone technology.
But it's got current phone technology and it just has that much of it in it.
Yeah.
I see.
It's kind of like my phone case is an ENIAC machine.
Yeah, okay. All right, great. Okay, so I'm
crushing candy, I'm crushing brews.
You're crushing brews, you're crushing the guys inside your phone because you don't
crushing this autocorrect guy. What plane does he live on? Because I'm going to spark over.
What else does it autocorrect your name to? Oreo.
Okay, so
I mean, that's not the worst. I mean, I wouldn't mind if my name sort of autocorrected to Oreo sometimes.
Man, I don't spend 2 hours in the gym every day to be soft in the middle, Andy.
I see. Okay.
Right?
You're taking that pretty personally, I think. You're looking really deep into that one.
No, this body does not eat Oreos.
I believe that.
Okay.
Yeah. You could probably eat like 1,000 of them and it wouldn't really matter to you because they're very small to you.
Well, I mean, I'm a big guy. I need 800,000 calories a day to stay level.
You should be eating cookies then. You should be eating Oreos.
No, man.
More calories
No, man. Here's my meals.
Okay.
Here's the Oloro diet. Okay. If you want to be cut like Oloro, giant Oloro, here's what you do.
Okay.
In the morning, 1,000 eggs.
1,000 eggs?
Yeah. 2 hours of cardio.
Okay.
10 a.m., hit the gym for a little bit, and then we eat 15 buffalo, 20 pounds of brown rice, and as many steamed vegetables as you want.
Rice must be hard. It must be like eating dust to you. Like if I was just eating dust, because the rice is even pretty small to me, you know?
Oh, no. Okay, well, what I call rice is, see what it is, I guess you would call it logs.
Logs. So like a full tree is like a
It's
rice.
like a rice to
It's like
me.
a rice to you.
Yeah, and then the tops of the trees turn into my broccoli.
Listen, you got to figure it out. It sounds like.
Yeah, man. That's what it's like. So sometimes I get called Oreo. Sometimes I get called Oregon.
Okay.
Sometimes I get called Oprah.
She's a good one. Also, like people called me Oprah, I'd be pretty happy.
I would
about
love
it.
to be Oprah, but I am not Oprah.
Right. Okay. You
Okay?
just wanted to set the record straight on that one.
I get called
You're
olives.
not Oprah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
I get called olives.
Olives.
I get called progressive.
What?
Because I think this guy thinks I left a P out and it tries to guess
Oh, it
where
tried
I'm
to change
going.
it to progress. Weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's a weird one.
Sometimes I'm oranges.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I'm oleo.
Oleo. Is
I had
that
to
even
look that up. It's the old-fashioned word for margarine.
weird?
Yeah, it's in a lot of crossword puzzles.
And you don't know too much about margarine. You're keeping it healthy over there.
No, man, I don't need that stuff. I
Well,
don't eat it.
I gotta say, it's been a real pleasure having you here. You're the most
yeah.
popular guy out there right now.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to reach out to the little guys.
Do you have any last things to say to your fans?
Yeah, man. Here's what you got to do. You got to keep your head in the game, and you get to create the life that you're looking for. Okay, so like if you're tired of being out of shape or whatever, just remember 2,000 eggs, 40 cows, a bunch of logs, and as many tops of trees steamed that you want, and you'll turn this around.
All right, Olives. Thank you very much for being here.
What?
That's
call
the
me
interview for
Olives?
this week. Okay, goodbye.
Call me Olives.